If you could tell the world one thing, what would it be?
When it comes to like people who want to start their own business, something that I want to emphasize is
You already have a long list of accomplishments to your name. 13th at the 2023 National Speech and Debate Championships. Helped coach the 2024 California State Championship in Debate. CEO of Champions Debate. How did you come across these opportunities?
a lot of the best opportunities that I've gotten so far is just
What are the mistakes that you made in the past that stick out to you?
important that you just learn from those mistakes. I saw a quote.
By the way, he got that coat from my mom.
Right.
All right, Aditya, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so Aditya, you're 18 and you already have a long list of accomplishments to your name. You placed 13th at the 2023 National Speech and Debate Championships. You helped coach the 2024 California State Championship in Debate. You're the CEO of Champions Debate, and I didn't even mention your skills as the best cat owner I know. So I wanted to ask you, what keeps you hungry?
That's a great first question to get us started. First off, I just wanted to say, on top of being a great cat owner, I'm also an incredible basketball player.
Of course, yes,
About to bench 225.
Of course.
Going crazy there. But back to what keeps me hungry. I think this is a great question. And I think the answer to that is I've been given a lot of opportunities that I feel like a lot of my other family members don't have. Like my dad, for example, grew up in extreme poverty in India. My mom had to sacrifice her chance at a very successful career to take care of me and my sister. And my sister's had a bunch of health consequences that have not allowed her to live up to her full potential. So then there's me. And I feel like I've been gifted a lot of very, very good opportunities, met a lot of great people. And from there, I just want to make the most of everything that I've gotten and continue to get. And I think that's what really keeps me hungry. I've gotten a lot of things from other people, had a lot of help, been placed in amazing situations. And from there, I just want to make sure I live up to my potential and make sure that I can be at my best all the time.
That's really commendable. I think from that, what I've got is that your family inspires you to reach your highest potential because you've seen people who couldn't because of obstacles in their way, and you just don't have that in your life.
Exactly. And it's like, I don't want to look back on myself and be like, man, I was just wasted potential. Like I could have done all of this stuff. I want to do it.
That's a very admirable mindset. I just wanted to give you the chance to speak on what you do at Champions Speech and Debate, just so you can market yourself real quick to the audience.
Yeah, of course. So Champions Debate, that is more so school year private coaching for congressional debate specifically, which is just a form of debate. Champions Debate started last year, so my first year out of high school, and I was given the opportunity to be the CEO of that company. And basically that's school year coaching organization for congressional debate. There's one of my favorite things about it is the accessibility. Basically, you can have access to 12 group sessions or 12 hours of coaching from former national champions, Tournament of Champions, a bunch of like very, very talented coaches, all for $100 a month. And when you compare that to the majority of coaching services in a activity like speech and debate, it's the most affordable option there is. You're getting access to 12 hours of coaching per month from very, very established and accomplished coaches for just $100. And I think that's a great opportunity to make sure that everybody, no matter their financial status, has access to quality coaching and has the ability to be at their best. When it comes to my roles within Champions Debate, I basically oversee all day-to-day operations, run it, in charge of any sort of like outreach that we do, even marketing. I've dabbled in that as well. So making like some videos for it, advertising, all that stuff, for rebranding Champions Debate to Ascend Academy. And from there, what I'm working on with Ascend is now establishing middle school programs. So creating an in-person Bay Area middle school coaching service twice a week, probably in like the Dublin, Pleasanton area, as well as also creating online offerings and school year coaching continuing through Champions Debate, just rebranded with Ascend Academy. So a bunch of like big important changes that are coming up soon. And I'm like very much excited to be leading like this middle school expansion because I think public speaking in general is something that is so valuable to so many people. And I feel like getting children, especially at the middle school level, started at a younger age is very, very important. Because I think what happens is a lot of middle schoolers don't really know the direction they're going in. Like when I was in middle school, I was doing like 5 different sports. You know, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life or anything like that. And I think providing an opportunity to give middle school students access to public speaking and speech and debate courses while they're at that age can really foster passion for this activity and make sure that they develop these necessary skills that will take them so far throughout their life.
Wow. So obviously you're a great public speaker, and I think that the reputation of your program is kind of solidified in who you are. And what I wanted to ask is, you're doing all these great things, and most high schoolers are super unsure of their future. They're doing anything that just comes across their mind. So how did you come across these opportunities, and what was your mindset into capitalizing on them?
That's also a very good question. I think the biggest thing is definitely just networking. A lot of the best opportunities that I've gotten so far is just I've talked to people. I've developed relationships with them. I've always wanted to learn from people that have more experience than me, from people that just know more than me. Because I feel like there's so much to learn out there. And obviously, we're not able to learn all of it just by ourselves. Like, I can't sit down, read about every single different thing there is in the world and be knowledgeable about it. And that's why I think it's like really important when you are in social settings, when you're at like any sort of event where there's other people that specialize in certain activities or are very high up in certain industries. It's very important that you talk to them. I was talking to one of my uncles a couple of months ago who works at a very, very big artificial intelligence company located in the Bay Area. And he was just talking to me about like kind of getting into the field of AI and stuff like that. And even though that's not something that I'm probably going to do in the future, just learning about that and that potential opportunity gives me this opening. So if I ever do want to get into that field, I have somewhere to start. I know this person who's like offered to help me just because I showed interest. And I think that's one of the best ways to really get access to opportunities. Just show that you're willing to learn and that you want to learn. I think especially at a younger age, a lot of like older people in their like 40s, 50s, they want to pass on their knowledge to people that are younger than them. And I think if you show them that you are willing to put in the work or you are truly interested in what they have to tell you and offer you, that's one of the best ways at just getting access to opportunities.
Wow. I feel like you just released like a wealth of gold information upon us. How do you approach someone that you want to work with, regardless of age? What do you say? Like, what's your conversation starters?
Yeah, I think that's interesting because I don't think there's like one conversation starter or even like a blueprint for doing that. I think the biggest thing is you want to make them like you as a person. Because if you go up to someone and you're like, hey, I saw that you work at Google and I was really interested about getting an internship there. And like, I've never met this person before. That just comes across as like me trying to use them or use them to like get a job or get an internship, right? And that's why it's really important just to talk to them as a person, learn more about them, hear about what they do. And that's why I think it's important to always show that you're genuinely interested. I was working at a sports startup in the daily fantasy sports industry. And basically the way I got that job was I was talking to this guy there was like this social event, and I was just talking to this guy about sports, and all of a sudden he tells me, hey, I have this sports startup, we're looking to add on to more people, I was wondering if you wanted to come intern with us. And I ended up joining them, worked for them for like 2 years, was able to grow their brand a ton. And I think it was just all because my first impression with that guy was not that I was trying to get a job. Like, I didn't even know there was a position that existed, right? But it was just, I came across as very genuine. I wanted to like learn about what he's doing. Like, I was just talking to him. I was talking to him about sports, right? And it can really just be anything like that. Try to find some sort of commonality and just talk to people about those commonalities and make a good first impression. And then from there, you can kind of dive more into the business side of things, talk about like, or ask them like what their profession is, like what do they do, what company do they work at, stuff like that. I think that's always like a very important step to take before you try to ask for like any sort of opportunity or like network, right? You want to make sure that you're like being a good human being, right? You're talking to them, making a good impression.
And it doesn't always have to lead anywhere. It can just be a dead end. But the fact that you're being a good person, the fact that you're talking to people, that just opens up a whole new world of opportunities is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like most of the time when I talk to people, it's not like I'm trying to find any sort of opportunity. It's just I genuinely am curious about what they're doing. Like, good example, my one of my family members came up to visit from San Diego just this past weekend, and he works at a very good at the startup biotech company that's valued over like $4 billion now. Like it's a super massive growing company. Maybe we'll get bought out by like a big pharma company, who knows? But still, I was just really, really curious in hearing what he does, how he contributes, how his company's been able to grow like that. And obviously I don't want to necessarily work at his company or like join this the startup. It's more so just I want to see how and what strategies he used to get to this point, like what he does, and just learn more about the field, because I think it's really important just to get more knowledge in general.
Of course. You're a knowledge seeker.
Yeah, exactly.
You've attained a lot of success based on what I'm hearing and what I know of you, of course. But success doesn't come without any mistakes. So what are the mistakes that you made in the past that stick out to you?
I think one of the biggest ones was just my desire to be perfect. And I know that a lot of like younger people, especially like high schoolers, struggle a lot with this, as you have a lot of societal pressures upon you and stuff like that. But I think it's important to remember that where you're at right now doesn't determine where you finish, right? So even if you're not necessarily at the best place, maybe you're in college and you haven't landed an internship yet, or any of that sort of stuff, right? I think it's important to consider that you're not going to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes, and it's important that you just learn from those mistakes. I saw a quote just a couple of minutes ago, and it was, you either win or you learn. You never lose. And I think that is super, super important to consider, right? It's any sort of loss that you might take is just an ability from you to learn from that, right? You never repeat the same mistake over and over again. And I think that's something that I really struggled with. I would put a lot of pressure on myself. I would want to be perfect. And in doing so, I would just create some sort of like spiral in a sense where I never was able to improve or learn from my mistakes. And that's why I think it's important to have like a growth mindset where maybe you're not at a place that you want to be right now, but that doesn't mean that you're never going to be able to get there. So kind of just accepting where you are and just planning a path forward instead of looking back on past mistakes.
Wow. By the way, he got that quote from my mom. So moms are always right. That's something that she's taking away from this.
Agreed. Yeah.
You touched upon failures and how it's never really a failure. It's a learning opportunity. One thing that I wanted to say is that we're both Asian. We both know how growing up as a high schooler in California, in the Bay Area, even in America in general, there's a huge emphasis placed on what college you go to and how that's going to impact your career. What would you tell someone who didn't get into the college of their dreams and is feeling devastated about that?
I mean, it's short-term pain, but honestly, I personally go to community college, and I think that's been one of the best decisions that I've made. I didn't get into anywhere that I loved. So I was like, why not? Spend 2 more years at home, save a ton of money. Community college saved my family and myself a lot of money, as well as it gave me a lot more time just to continue to explore the things that I wanted to do. I think one of the best parts about community college is the flexibility. I can set my own schedule. I'm still at home, which gives me a certain element of freedom, right? I have more time on my hands than I would if I went to a 4-year, which means that I have more time to spend on things that I want to do, right? So I just started going to the gym because I have a lot more time on my hands.
Of
or
course.
I've been able to take big leadership positions in companies like Champions and Ascend because I have this extra time that comes from kind of staying more at home. Even traveling, I've been able to do a lot of that in recent years or in recent months. And I think that it's a very bad mindset, in my opinion, to confine yourself to success based on the school that you go to. People have room to improve, and it doesn't necessarily matter what college that they go to. It's all about what they make out of their time wherever they are, right? If you're at community college, making sure that you're getting involved, talking to the professors there. Honestly, I've had some of my best classes ever be at community college because the teachers are great. The professors love to teach, and the smaller class sizes are incredible. And additionally, you want to make the most out of your time, right? So at community college, if you're there, taking leadership opportunities, making sure you're getting involved, talking to your professors. Honestly, the professors at community college are incredible. There's very small class sizes compared to a big school like UC Berkeley, for example. And that means you have extra time one-on-one with these professors who are so excited to teach and show you all of the experience that they've had. I had a professor who was an archaeologist who went all across the world digging fossils, bunch of really cool stuff. And just kind of hearing a lot about his life story was really inspiring to me, seeing how he chased after his passion. But in general, right, it's not necessarily about where you are. It's about what you do with where you are, right? So whether you're at Stanford University or Foothill Community College, if you're making the most out of your time there, you're going to be successful in either world. So I don't necessarily think it's a good idea to be like, oh, I didn't get into my dream school, so I'm a failure, or I suck, right? Like, first off, you're going to get into a great school after 2 years at community college.
True.
But secondarily, maybe school isn't the pathway for you. Maybe you want to go straight into working or something like that. That is also an acceptable path, right?
Please, if you're a parent, please take this to heart, because it is very, very true. Aditya's overachieved, and he's at community college, and I'm super proud to just call him my friend. Like, he's actually one of the smartest and most like talented and hardworking people I know. You touched upon your teachers at community college, and of course, all these people that you've networked with. So I'm assuming that comes with mentors that you've had throughout your life. So how did mentorship play a part in your success?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of my biggest mentors is my former debate coach. His name is Quest Sandell. He was basically able to give me so many opportunities. He's one of the best debate coaches in the country. He's won multiple national titles. He's just an all-around great person. And I think just being able to work with people like him, be mentored by him, it's given me so many opportunities that I cannot express my gratitude for enough. Meeting people like him, as well as some teachers, even just like friends that I've met like along the way, it just makes me want to be better. Like, I want to improve. Just seeing the people around me do great things, and especially like when my mentors are pushing me, telling me that I have potential in like being a coach, for example, like it really inspires me. It makes me want to live up to that potential. And I think that's why it's really important to make sure you're always surrounded by a good group of people. The environment that you are in very much shapes who you are as a person. And if you're surrounding yourself with people who are like trying to be as successful as possible, they're positive, they're happy, they're just in a good place, in a good mindset, and they push you to be better, that's exactly what you need, right? Whereas you don't want to be around people who are kind of dragging you down, filled with negativity, not really doing anything with themselves or their life, right?
Yeah, I literally just took an interview yesterday, and my friend said the exact same words. I think that's very true. You are a sum of the 5 people that you're closest to, and I think that you've surrounded yourself with great people. Hopefully I'm one of them.
No, definitely.
And that just leads to so much more success, opens so many doors, and motivates you, pushes you. I actually do have one question.
Go for it.
You speaking remind me of it, but you helped run a company at the age of 18. What gives you the confidence to do so?
To be honest, like, I wasn't entirely confident. I think part of it was just external validation. People were telling me like, yeah, you got this, like you've accomplished so much, like you can do this. But a lot of it was also just sometimes you got to take risks. Like,
of course,
the startup that I was talking about earlier, that actually ended up going bankrupt a couple of months ago. And unfortunately, like, that was a risk that didn't pay off, especially for like the co-founders and CEO of the company. But I think like they wouldn't like take it or they wouldn't do it over or anything. Like, I think sometimes risk taking is just what needs to be done. Yeah, you might fail a couple of times. You might succeed and get lucky, right? Or maybe you don't get lucky, you just succeed, right? But I think it's important that no matter what, you have a certain just level of confidence in your own abilities, and that'll allow you to do pretty much anything in the world, right? As long as you're confident in yourself and you're willing to kind of put yourself out there, take some risks, the possibilities are endless then.
So it's been so great having you. I just wanted to ask one last question before I let you go. If you could tell the world one thing, what would it be?
Well, we'll keep this twofold then. First off, I think when it comes to like a business thing, when it comes to like people who want to start their own business, something I want to emphasize is finding your nuance is so, so important when it comes to that. Like, I think one of the biggest reasons why I've been able to be successful is because I took what I was good at and then figured out a way to kind of monetize that or expand that and teach it to other people. And strategies like that are the best way to be a successful business. You want to find a niche in like a market or just a niche in anything pretty much and figure out how, like, what is the problem that I can solve with my product or with my platform or service, for example. Like, when it comes to Champions Debate, a big problem was a lack of affordable school year coaching. Enter Champions Debate, which very much solved that issue and provided a comprehensive solution where like tens of kids were able to access quality coaching for very cheap rates. So finding niches is very important because you're not going to be successful doing the same thing that 500,000 people already tried doing, right? Like, that's not going to be how you make it. Secondarily, on top of like the business thing, one thing that I just really want to emphasize to the world out there is having just empathy for others. I think this is something, especially at younger ages when we're all like super hyper competitive, people seem to lose this concept of empathy. Making sure that you always understand that there are people out there with extenuating circumstances. They might be going through something you don't know is happening at all. And it's important that you just treat everyone with kindness. You're empathetic, you're understanding towards other people. Even if you're having a bad day, that does not excuse you just being mean to somebody else because you don't know what they're going through. And always just taking the side of like peace and empathy over conflict and violence, I think is something that I really want to emphasize to everybody out there.
Powerful message. Powerful message. Wow. I feel like you've given me like 20 different life lessons today. And I just want to thank you so much.
Hey, it's me.